Alright, today you're going to be practicing some more multi-step inequality problems. By the end of this class period, you should be able to solve multi-step inequalities using your knowledge of solving multi-step equations. So let's go ahead and take a look here at the first example. Go ahead and make sure that you have the graphic organizer, and you can see that this example is written on the paper. Go ahead and copy down the work. Once we are done with our work and get our answer, we will fill in the graph for the solution. So if I take a look here at my inequality, I have negative 143 is less than or equal to negative 8 times 3p plus 8 minus 7. So just like in my multi-step equations, I can draw that line at the inequality symbol, just like the equal sign in my equations, and now I need to simplify. So we need to distribute here. So I get negative 24p minus 64 minus 7. That stays the same because it's not inside the parentheses. We still have 143 over here. So now I'm going to combine some things. So over on the right hand side I have like terms here. Negative 64 minus 7 is negative 71. So I have negative 24p minus 71. And over here I still have negative 143. So now I'm going to solve for p. So I'm going to add 71. And I'm going to simplify this here. So I get negative 72 is less than or equal to negative 24p. My last step is to divide by negative 24. Now when I divide by a negative, remember this symbol has to be switched around. So now I have negative 72 divided by negative 24, which is 3. So 3 is greater than or equal to p. Again, that symbol changed because I was dividing by a negative. So I don't like how this is 3 is greater than or equal to p, so I'm going to rewrite that. P is less than or equal to 3. You see here that the closed part of that symbol is towards the p, so when I rewrite that, I still have to have that be true. So p is less than or equal to 3. So if I graph this on my number line here, I'm going to go to the 3, and it is going to be a filled in circle at 3 because it can be equal to 3. Now if I think about being less than or equal to 3, the numbers to the left are less than, so I'm going to shade in that direction and put an arrow because that could be any number that is less than 3. So on the graph there I show my solution of p is less than or equal to 3. Alright, let's go ahead and go to our second example here. Let's remember our steps here. So as we continue to look at this example, we want to get rid of those parentheses, combine like terms, move all the variables to one side, move the constants to the other, and then solve for that variable. Okay? So my equation here, I have 2 parentheses 8 plus 8m is less than or equal to 144. So I'm going to get rid of those parentheses by distributing. So I have 16 plus 16m is less than or equal to 144. At this point I do not have any like terms, so I'm going to solve for m. So I need to subtract 16. So I have 16m on the left hand side is less than or equal to 128. I'm going to divide by 16. So m is less than or equal to 8. Okay, so if I go up to my graph now, I would go to the number 8. It would be a filled in circle on 8 because it can be equal to 8, and now it is less than or equal to 8. So the numbers less than 8 are to the left. So I'm going to shade that and draw an arrow, and there's my solution. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at one more here. So again, I'm going to rewrite this just so that I have enough space and I don't go over that graph. Negative 421 is greater than or equal to negative 7p minus 6, parentheses 8p plus 6. So I'm going to get rid of those parentheses first by distributing a negative 6 to the 8p and to the 6. So negative 421 would stay the same, greater than or equal to negative 7p. Nothing happens with that negative 7p because it is not right next to the parentheses or in the parentheses, so it needs to stay the same. Some of us made that mistake while we were doing our equations unit, that you distribute something that's not next to it. You distribute the number next to the parentheses. So negative 6 times 8 is negative 48p, and negative 6 times positive 6 is negative 36. Okay, so now I'm going to combine like terms here. I see that I have negative 7 and negative 48. So if I add those together, because they're both the same sign, I get, well, I guess I'll go from left to right here. Negative 421 is greater than or equal to negative 55p minus 36. So I'm going to add 36 to both sides. I get negative 300, let's see, and 85 is greater than or equal to negative 55p. I'm going to divide by negative 55. And again, because I'm dividing by a negative, I must flip this symbol around, so that turns to less than or equal to. And negative 385 divided by negative 55 is 7. So p is greater than or equal to 7. When I write that, remember, if I put the p first, that open part is towards the p, so it has to stay to the p. So p is greater than or equal to 7. So up on my graph here, I'm going to go to the number 7. It can be equal to 7, so I'm going to fill in that dot at 7, and the numbers greater than are to the right this time. So I'm going to draw that arrow in that direction. Alright, so again, as you do your work, make sure you're getting rid of parentheses, combining like terms, moving the variables to one side, moving the constants to the other, and then solving for that variable. Okay, here are 4 more problems that I want you to practice on your own. You can go ahead and pause the video. You have space on your paper to do the work, and make sure you put the solution on the number line. Okay. When you are done with these 4 questions, make sure that you start the video again so that you can put the correct answers on your paper if you do not have them. Okay? Alright, so you should have solved these already on your own. I'm going to go ahead and just go through the answers here. So if you take a look at number 1, when you do this, you are dividing by a negative. So you want to make sure that you are flipping this symbol around. So you end up getting x is greater than 7. So if I go to my graph, it's going to be an open circle on 7 because it cannot be equal to that. And you would shade that to the right because those are the numbers greater than 7. Okay, number 2 here. When you divide, you are dividing by a positive, so you should not flip the symbol around here. But you end up getting b is greater than negative 5. So again, this is not equal to negative 5, so I'm going to have an open circle on negative 5. And if it is greater than that, I would shade to the right and put that arrow. Okay. Number 3 here. When you divide, you are not dividing by a negative number. So there's no switching of the symbol here, but when you solve that, you get r is greater than 5. So I put that open circle on the 5, and I would shade to the right and put that arrow. Alright, and the last one here, number 4, when you divide, you are dividing by a positive, so again, not switching the sign, but you get m is greater than -6. So on the -6, an open dot, and greater than is to the right. Okay, so hopefully you did those correctly and you were able to solve those. If not, spend some time looking back through your work to see if you can find your mistakes. And then move on here. You will see that there are on the back of your paper another set of practice problems. If you feel like you're ready for the practice worksheet rather than these, that's fine, or you can do these for extra practice. The answers will not be provided here in this video, but you can check those with your classmates, you can check that with the teacher, and feel free to use these as extra practice before you get to that practice worksheet. So throughout our time this week, you should be able to solve multi-step inequalities using your knowledge of solving multi-step equations. If you have any questions, please ask your teacher and get that extra worksheet to practice. And you do have a quiz on Thursday over this material. Have a good day.